Welcome, everybody, to the Third Period Podcast, the NBHL's best and thus far only podcast. I am your host, Darren Basmajan. You can find me on Twitter at NBHL Media. I am joined this week by the returning Sean Guerrero at NBHL_official is where you can reach out to him.
It's me.
Say hello, Sean.
Hello, everyone.
And then to the right of me, in a very unfamiliar position, I don't think we've sat this way since we've been in Sportira. Maybe it's Sportira. I think he might have been on my right once.
My off wing here. I don't feel a little weird.
We're putting him in a shooting position. Is Vasil Neshev. Vasil, thanks for being back. It has been quite some time. You can reach him at Vasil NBHL. He might not respond because he can't remember his password, but you can reach him there. So this week we are breaking down the Larink leagues.
Yep.
The Larink leagues. I always feel like I should say Larink leagues because I don't know. We got to figure out a solution to that. Maybe by the end of this episode. C, E, and L leagues. Yes. So we're going to start off with C, move down to E, finish off with L. L being the biggest league. I figure we'll have a little bit more to talk about there. Let's jump into it, guys. Let's start off. We've been getting good feedback on the prior podcast. Now that we've moved kind of into playoff mode, I'm looking forward to breaking this down here. Yeah. Where, as we speak, the final matchups of the regular season are taking place in most of these leagues. So as
long as you don't say anything offensive this time, so YouTube,
yeah, okay. Let's establish this. For some reason, the video YouTube took us down. Yeah, we're not entirely sure what happened or why it happened, but it happened. So it could be that, I don't know, somehow we accidentally triggered something. Could be the algorithm was messed up. Could be somebody flagged us. And if someone did flag us, sorry, we're back.
Now YouTube's on our side.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. And this should be up Friday, hopefully. So let's jump into here. C-League. We've got the Razorware at the top spot, followed closely by Easy Company. Then we got the Killers, GIC, the Ducks, and the Recruits. As we stand right now, the playoff situation is thus. 5 out of 6 teams make it. The 6th team is already out. It's the Recruits. We know they're not making the playoffs officially. They're 2 points back and have no games left to play, so that's the end of that. So we know that our 5 teams will be Razorware, Easy Company, Killers, GIC, and Ducks. Beyond that, there are still some things in play coming into this final week. We know that one of the top two seeds will be Razorware and Easy Company. We don't know who will finish 1. We don't know who will finish 2. They're actually playing each other this week, so that's going to decide that. The Killers will finish 3rd. That we know for sure. And the 4 versus 5, we know the teams that are 4 and 5, they're GIC and Ducks. Neither of them can move up or down. They're in 4 or 5, but we don't know who will finish where. Either way, what we are guaranteed, given the playoff format, is that 4 will play 5 in the first round. Winner of that will play against the number 1 seed. Yep. And the 2 and 3 will face each other. Right. So what we do know is that GIC will be facing Ducks in the first round of the playoffs, and we know that we don't know who they'll face yet.
Now, on top of that, they're also going to have a little, I don't know if you watched Montreal versus Toronto in the MLS. They had a little game right before the playoffs. They're playing each other at 10 a.m. This Sunday. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a preview of what's going to come in the quarters. Just a couple days after that, 4 days later, they're going to play again. So they're gonna get a chance to get to know each other. Although they've played each other a few times this season, now they're going to have a real chance, like a real tester game out there. If
I were them, I'd bring all fake players just to throw them off. Oh, these guys suck. We're going to kill them. I don't know.
These guys know each other well. I mean, the Ducks have been in the league before, and a lot of the guys know each other from GIC. Right. So, they know each other well enough that there is not going to be any surprises. At Game 13, it's hard to, especially if you want to qualify somebody, to bring in a newbie at the last mile there to make a difference, really. And like I said, they're not inclined to do that because this game really doesn't mean anything standing-wise.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Throw the last game to get the mental edge. Absolutely. 100%.
Actually, I don't think you want to...
Or Bobby Clark them. Break a shin.
You want to go in hot. You don't want to go in cold. We've seen good teams derail themselves by taking it too easy in the last games of the season and then not being able to recover when it matters. Mm-hmm. So I would not recommend it.
Let's neither would I, but it's fun to play devil's advocate from time to time. Hockey, I guess. Los Pollos hockey is try to throw the game, but with no actual strategy of just lose. That's basically what we did. And now that our season is over, let me throw out while we're at it. We had 2 wins on the season, and one of the 2 we were somehow the roster was not eligible. So I was tucking that under my hat until this point.
And we will.
It will not make a difference, though. Let's start at the top here. C League. Let's get back to the C League. No one wants to hear about Los Pollos. They suck. Razorware versus Easy Company. That's who's playing each other this week.
Yes.
And that's for determining who's going to finish in the top spot. Let's talk.
Actually,
sorry, go ahead.
Razorware already clinched the first spot.
because the points are separate enough. It's 19 to 16.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
Sorry.
they're in first.
So apparently I can't count. Oh, this was updated
Yes,
maybe
it was,
today.
exactly.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm not an idiot. I'm just not prepared. I don't know which one's better. Okay, so then Razorware guaranteed to have the top spot. That's great. So we know that Razorware is facing the winner of GIC versus Ducks, and if that's the case,
and Killers are playing Easy Company.
Killers are playing Easy Company. So let's break these matches down then a little bit. Let's start off with GIC versus Duck then. Let's go with what's more interesting, then we'll work our way to the top. So let's start off with that. You said they're facing each other twice, but if we have to break down the actual playoff matchup here.
The actual playoff matchup is Ducks have won in the past, so you know for sure no matter who they're playing, they do have a chance. It's guaranteed.
They know how to win.
Yeah. Now, knowing how to win, GIC have a lot of the guys that are really experienced at Larank, particularly, not necessarily in the 5-on-5, but strictly in the 4-on-4, and they've won it at separate divisions throughout Larank. So it's going to be interesting to see, who's going to have that playoff edge after that first initial test game, who's going to really elevate it to that point. Now, from what I've noticed this season, I would probably give the edge to GIC. I don't know how you feel, if you think that Ducks are going to have all their guys.
That's exactly it. Depends if Ducks are going to have all their guys. Look, when Ross manages in your team, you have to make sure you guys qualify, right? And that's been Duck's issue. And if they manage to do it, I know in the last 2 games that they've had, did they get all the guys qualified would be the difference. If they show up with 7 bodies, I still think they're a very good team, but I think GIC's army is going to...
they're structured. They know exactly what they're doing when they're out there. Yes, they finished 500, which isn't bad. I mean, if they win the last game, they're over 500, even though they're in the bottom half of the pack. Yeah. But like I said, a lot of these guys are experienced strictly at Larank, so I'm thinking they're going to have the edge on top of the Ducks.
Yeah, no, exactly. If the body count on the Ducks is lower than I would hope, then I say GIC is the favorite. If Ducks has 2 lines, all Ducks need are their 2 lines, and then I'll be honest with you, I think they have the edge in skill.
In actual gameplay they might. It's strategy and matching guys, defensive awareness, and just learning how to win at Larank. Yes, they've won a cup, but I'm pretty sure most of that was pure talent. It wasn't exceptional coaching or guiding the guys in the right way.
They're so talented. The guys are very, very talented players, but I would say they're like how we would qualify. They're like Russian hockey players. Super talented. But if you play a Canadian hockey game, a little less talent, a little more grit and grind,
throw them off,
and that could happen to Ducks. What I mean? They if they get like a bit rattled by the physicality of a playoff game, they can be exposed.
Especially in the rink, we all know it's a bit more grit oriented because it's so tight.
You're always in close with everyone.
And that's where GSC players excel. Is that grinding game? They'll wear you down, and that's what can hurt Ducks if they don't have the bodies to sustain the onslaught.
Right.
All right. So then, just to be clear, your pick, Vassal, would be GIC, and you, Sean, as well. I mean, you're kind of qualifying it with depending on the roster, but if you have to go out on a limb,
if I have to go on a limb, based on what I'm seeing now, I would have to go GIC right now.
All right. So we're gonna go with that. So you guys both have them going on to face Razorware. So let's break that in now.
Yeah. Out of the pot, what is it? Out of the pot into the fire.
Exactly. So let's break. Okay, let's break it down here. Obviously, Razorware has had an incredible season.
Right.
Is there any way they lose this game matchup?
Yes. There is one reason. It's going to be bodies.
Right.
The last game against Recruits, they had 6 guys.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's the amount of bodies; it's which bodies are there.
Exactly, and I know for the potentially if they're on that Sunday game, I've already talking to Joe, the captain.
Right,
he's not there, and his son's not there.
Okay, so that's one really strong player from the blue line, and their leading scorer who's averaging a hat trick a game.
So not important players.
No,
or anything,
not really.
No?
That's why I'm saying if Ducks move on, I think Razorware's in a lot of trouble. I think if they have the rest of their squad there, they can beat GIC, ironically, but I just find because I find their talent furthermore equips a GIC, but it's going to be tough without Matt there.
Yeah. Now, I watched them play with just 6 guys against recruits, and they started the game a little slow, but they picked it up halfway through, and then it was a non-issue after that. Luca Ciampini got 9 points, 6 goals, and every shot was in the top corner. So if he gets just a few of those going, it's going to be very hard for GIC to trade goals with them, or the Ducks if they win.
Yeah.
We're going by the assumption that you guys are, with the whole caveat that everything they say could be wrong, but then what are we going to do?
I did well against Jeff.
Roll the dice?
I did really well against Jeff.
You
actually.
did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Masters.
Yeah.
So I guess...
I don't even play in that league. And
I guess Jeff is not a master at predicting the Masters. Thank you. I'm done.
that's
Sorry.
why we get flagged. Things like that.
Horrible jokes.
Horrible
Yeah,
jokes.
it's not offensive. It's just offensively bad. Okay, so going on. So Razorwire GIC.
You got to go for Razor.
Yeah, it's the.
But now knowing what you know about the possibility of those guys not being there, it doesn't change what you're thinking.
it is a 1-game playoff, right?
It's a 1-game playoff.
Yeah.
So it's really tricky. It depends if they really showed up to play. Because like I said, if they're going to start trading goals, Razorware is going to win.
Okay.
It's really if, they show up with their normal game of hoping to score 7, 8, 9, 10 goals, and GIC is there to shut it down completely. I think, given the missing players, they would stand a chance. They're not, Razorware wouldn't be as favored.
You know what? I'm just looking at the last time they played on a Sunday, they tied. Razorware against GIC 8-8. And you know what? Razorware, it's a GIC main day.
Right.
Not a main day for Razorware.
Exactly.
And they're missing their captain, and they're missing their best scorer.
Go out on a limb, Sean. I feel like you want to do it.
I think GIC is going to take it. I just think that's
There
a
it
lot
is.
of...
I think there's a chance. There definitely is a chance, but they'd have to play their game plan to a T and really not take any penalties, not let these guys capitalize on the power play, and really just try to isolate the most dangerous players, which are Liam McCarthy and Luca Ciampini, if the Chiquinos aren't there.
All right. So Sean, officially GIC. Vassal,
I'm gonna
officially
stick with
Razorware.
Razorware, yeah.
All right, good. So then we move on to Easy Company versus the Killers.
This is a good one.
it's going to be fantastic.
I had the pleasure of watching them on Tuesday, and Killers took it by a goal. It was the 11 o'clock game. It was really impressive to watch. Just a lot of high talented players. Like there's a few grinders on each team, of course, that know how to play. But when the talented guys come up, there's just a lot of set plays, and it was just very nice to watch. In this case, Easy Company kind of got thrown off. They got a few consecutive penalties. Killers scored 4 power play goals, and it's like you got under the skin of Easy Company. I don't see that getting to them through the playoffs, though. Like their experience, they know what it's about. Exactly. But it is really hard to pick who would win in like a hard-fought 50-minute playoff game between these two.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a sense of their matchups here, and it's really tough. The last time they played, Killers came out on top. But I don't have anything more recently that would suggest, anything else. I can't tell. Yeah. But, Easy Company mercied Razorware. That's like...
That must be an off game.
It has
to be an off game. It must
have been, you know what I mean? But
it's their only loss on the year. It's got to be a write-off, I would say.
That's true.
Maybe they threw it for gambling purposes or something like that.
I think Easy Company is a more well-rounded team. Their goalie Gino is playing fantastically, but Killers got Fabio, and he's playing. Fabio.
Steve Rainville, who since we mentioned on the show has elevated his game quite a bit. Yeah, this week he was very strong for them.
But I just think Killers, yes, Easy Company's got David and Matt Lacroix at the top end, but then you go Connor Gagnon, Massimo Matto, and then Jeremy Wong.
Trevor Gagnon.
Trevor Gagnon.
That's kind of what I want to talk about is the blue line on the Killers. They're using Trevor on the blue line. Jeremy Wong, who's averaging 3 points a game from the blue line, and he's an absolute game changer, scores the most timely goals, often on the power play. If he's out there, you got a really good chance. And then you got Kuli Tsoukalas, who's having a heck of a season. I think he hit 20 points, and he's one of the toughest guys to play against at Lorink. He's a big guy, fast and just smart. He's there to play. He's not there to get free assists or goals or anything. He doesn't even think about that. He's just there to play. He just happens to have a cannon. And Andrea Kakis back there as well, who I believe is hurt. He hasn't been there in the last few weeks, so that would be a big factor for them if he's not there. But and they also have Chris Vasilikakos, so their blue line is just stacked. If they manage to give Steve Rainville, the goalie, the support that he needs, I'm thinking they could contain Easy Company to a lower scoring game than average.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think.
And that's when those top guys like Connor, Trevor Gagnon, and Massimo Matto are going to score.
They're going to score.
No matter what.
Exactly. They're not going to be able to contain them forever, and I don't think Easy Company has a defensive.
No, they have the offensive weapons to match them if they were to go high scoring, but they don't have the defensive weapons to contain any of those guys.
They have paradoxically, they have a team game that can shut down because they play very much more as a
control
unit
the ball and
like Killers is really like a back end and a front end.
Yeah, exactly.
What I mean? And some of the back end guys will support front end. I mean, Connor is like just amazing.
It's very good.
But I find whereas Easy Company is just always together, and I find them they never give up.
No, and they move the ball around very well
So
within them.
well.
It's nice to see like all four guys touch the ball at the rink before the ball goes in.
Before the ball goes in, right?
Yeah.
And that's that. I know if one team gets down, Easy Company has a propensity to get back up.
Right.
Whereas I find Killers, although they've demonstrated a couple times this year to come back, desire, but historically speaking, they'll be a team that like sort of like combusts on itself.
Yeah, and then turns. Yeah.
Internally they focus versus cohesiveness and addressing the issue at hand, which is beating the other team.
Right.
It seems that John Fedros has done a really great,
very good job. Nice attitude on the roster. Everyone there is happy. It looks good. It looks really good. They also got really nice new jerseys this week. Maybe it's a little good luck charm for the playoffs, but they're very, very nice.
So I would say, like all things considered, the number of weapons, the defensive core, yes, a weaker on the goaltending side versus Easy Company, but I got to give Killers the edge in this matchup.
Right, and that is what happened on Tuesday. And surprisingly, how you mentioned them potentially, turning on themselves, or that's what happened with Easy Company and the penalties. They let it get to them. Like they could kill those penalties, but they got annoyed. They even killed a 5-on-3, but then they scored on a 4-on-3 afterwards.
That's a bad
and they felt like they weren't the right penalties. So automatically, if you get scored on a penalty you don't think you deserve, it's going to throw you a little bit off your game. It's just in the playoffs, it's going to matter to what extent you're going to allow it to bother you. Like you got to just shrug it off. It's one goal at the rink. It happens in a heartbeat. Anything could happen. So
undoubtedly the best matchup in the first round
for sure.
Is this one for sure.
Yeah, it's a great matchup.
Yeah.
So
I got Killers as well.
You got the Killers as well. So both of you guys see the 2 seed falling.
I also had Killers winning initially. Last time on the webcast. So
okay.
You did?
Yeah.
So you're sticking with it.
I'm going to stick through it through Razorware.
If Razorware can get over the Sunday issue that they may face with they are winning this whole thing.
Okay, well, so let's jump to that point right now. Basically, the final that Sean has predicted is going to be, well, I guess we're still at the
No.
Yeah, what's it? You would have GIC facing off against the Killers. And Vassal would have Razorware facing off against the Killers.
So in my world, Killers winning the whole thing.
Okay.
Right.
And Vassal, in your world?
I think that Killers do have the defensive weapons to contain the top guys on Razorware. There's only a few of them. There's only so many guys. And when you have that many studs on your blue line, you could match them 1-on-1 or even 2-on-1. Make sure there's always one of these two guys on their top player. And go ahead.
To qualify what he's saying, out of the top 6 scorers in the entire league, 5 of them are on Razorware.
Yeah.
And there's 8 players on the team?
So 2 of them aren't going to be there. Well, actually, the first Sunday. That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, basically, from what you guys are saying, the Killers are both of your guys' pick in these brackets at this point, as constituted. But I'm looking at this team, and they finished 6-4-3. Nothing jumping off the board, middle of the pack. I don't know. They're scoring a lot of goals, I guess, but they're also allowing a lot of goals.
They are allowing a lot of goals, and that's what we were mentioning before about Steve. Now, if they manage to protect him, like I said, isolate him, he's not going to let those far shots through. So if they're all distant shot, it's fine. It's more like if they get in close and if they get power play chances. So, I mean, another thing is, out of the top guys we keep mentioning on this team, all of them have only played half the season each.
Okay.
I've never seen all 3 of them there at once. I'm assuming all 3 are going to be there for playoffs.
That would be a good plan. If I'm running that team, that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen Massimo, Connor, and Trevor all there, and Jeremy all there at once.
All right, so then you guys both very heavy on the Killers.
They've done it 2 seasons in a row. So, I mean...
So give me a pick for an MVP then, if that is how
playoff
it plays
MVP?
out. Yeah, if that's how it plays out.
To me, it's going to be Jeremy or Connor. That's basically...
I'm going to think... I'm going to have to go with Trevor, actually. Trevor from the blue line. Because they're going to expect Jeremy to be a huge factor into, like whichever team they're going to play, they're going to look at the stats. They're going to say, okay, Jeremy, this guy's on the blue line, purple helmet, this guy's everywhere. But they're going to expect Trevor to be up front, most likely, with the types of points he's putting up. So if he could shine from the blue line while most of the attention is derived towards Jeremy, I'm thinking he could be a gigantic factor in both matchups to end up getting the Conn Smythe afterwards.
So if you're not the Killers, at MBHL_official, at Vassal MBHL, that's where your hate mail goes to. And if you are the Killers, well, these are your guys
Christmas is
to buy.
coming.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the guys to buy beers for after the game. Let's move on to the E-League. We've got 5 teams here. Obviously, you'll notice if you look at the website, there's a 6th team there, but they are not in that league. We'll get to them later. So we've got 5 teams here. We've got Fast for Play, we've got Monster, Grim Reapers, Sonic, and Les Athlètes de la Nuit, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when we're talking about these, and we'll try and hold the Bleu Nuit puns to a minimum this time. So all 5 teams are making the playoffs. So that's just the way it broke down since the 6th team ended up disappearing from this league. So all 5 teams make it. Same type of playoff bracket as as we discussed in the C League. We've got the 4 seed will face the 5 seed, and the winner of that faces the 1 seed, and 2 and 3 are facing off in the first round as well. So a little bit more muddled right now in this situation here. We know who the 1 seed is. We know it's Fast for Play, and that's who it's going to be.
Right.
We know that the 2 seed is Monster, and we know that's who it's going to be as well. After that, it's kind of a bit more confusing because Sonic has 2 games left to play this week,
Mathematically,
right?
Sonic could
jump up to 3.
jump up now. If they're playing Grim Reapers, that gives them even more of a chance.
Yeah.
They are.
They are.
They're playing them at 11 a.m. on Sunday.
So really we can't do much in terms of predicting for 3, 4, and 5. We know likelihood it'll probably be Grim Reapers, I would imagine. Maybe.
It's more me. I don't. Yeah, exactly. I would say it's going to be. Yeah, I would say the dust will settle pretty close to what it is right now.
Yeah. Because Athlet can move up. They don't have enough wins, even if some kind of crazy miracle of goals against happens. They only have the 1 win, and if they win the second, only 2. So they're guaranteed 5th.
Yeah.
So we know that they're playing in that first round 4 versus 5 matchup. Who they're playing, it looks like it could be probably Sonic, but
last game Sonic is playing Athlet.
Yeah.
Which one would say on paper should be a win for Sonic.
Yeah.
So then they got to beat, Grim Reapers in the following game.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they can do that. It depends who Grim Reapers bring to the Sunday dance. Not a Grim Reaper, a tolerable a day for Grim Reapers. Not their best. But Grim Reapers when the roster is there can.
Oh, they're gonna. Yeah, exactly. When they're there, they could play with each of these teams and beat them. The issue has been getting all their guys all the time, and especially some of their top guys have missed a few games.
So let's try and prognosticate in the future, because obviously we went through all these teams in the first time we did the podcast. So I don't want to recap and start going through that. So let's just try and predict here. We'll have a little fun here, and if we're wrong, well, we're wrong. So obviously the key matchup is going to be Grim Reapers versus Sonic, as you guys were discussing in the last game of the regular season for them. And so first of all, let's start with that. Who do you see winning that? So how do you see the things ending up as the season ends?
Are Sonic primarily a Sunday team or Thursday, I believe?
Thursday.
Okay, so it's kind of an off day for both of them.
It's both, exactly. That's why I think Grim Reapers are going.
I'm going to give the edge to Grim Reapers as well.
All right, so if that's the case, then basically things will finish exactly as they are. Fast for Play, Monster, Grim Reapers, Sonic, Athlètes de la Nuit. So that means we'll have Sonic versus Athlètes de la Nuit in the first round. Let's talk about that matchup.
I think the Athlete could do it.
I know.
I mentioned it last time. They only have the 1 win all year, but they're just gritty and hard to play against. They're due for a win. I mean, they're winless, and I'm not sure exactly when they won their first game or only game, but
it's been a while.
Exactly. It hasn't been in the last 5, that's for sure.
Yeah. And as you met, they're playing literally like now as we speak. They are playing. It is 10:13 p.m. Thursday night. They will be playing in 17 minutes. Yeah. They'll be playing each other, and that might be a preview of that first round matchup.
Sure. I think that is the first round.
For me, while I do think Athletic can do it, if Sonic gets all their guys there for that first matchup, I think they're going to win because of the goaltending on Athlet's side. I'm a big fan of Jesse Mayers, but his numbers have just shown that he is a liability, unfortunately, for this team. And when I look at this team,
right.
I tell myself, if I'm captaining this team, I'm putting Jesse on defense because
He played good.
Fantastic.
He played
defenseman.
really well that one game I
He's a
saw.
rankable defenseman,
Right.
if he's not ranked already, and you just find a goalie
Mm-hmm.
for this caliber of play, and this team goes from like bottom to top
Right.
very quickly.
And it's not so much that only on Jesse. There's not that much
No.
defensive support either.
And
They
that's why
don't
to me
have.
it's like a win-win. Like you put a very good defenseman out there,
Right,
with
exactly.
some offensive abilities, and you put a backstop him with
an actual,
with an actual goalie,
Yeah.
and it changes your prospects completely.
Yeah,
you know.
because they could really use help on that blue line. I mean, they have no problem scoring goals with Fred Chaplow
Oh,
and
yeah.
Nick Burzy, Ben Robitaille, Pat Robitaille. They're putting up a ton of goals. It's
know.
really just staying in the game, not taking a dumb penalty, not getting shorthanded, and not giving the other team a chance to capitalize on already a small surface against. I mean, we both like Jesse a lot, but I guess in this division he would be a subpar goalie.
That's it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
You know, I like him a lot. Like I
Yeah.
played with the guy. I'm a big fan, but in this level, he's just
Yeah, I mean, who knows? If he had a studded blue line, we might not even
True.
be.
That may
We
be
wouldn't be in the discussion. Exactly. It's just he's not good enough to steal it the way, let's say, Shiraz is when Monster's blue line is having a rough day. You know.
Exactly.
So then, where do you guys land on that matchup?
I like
Sounds-
Athlete.
You really think they're going to pull it
Yeah.
off?
I think so. If it's a weekday game, Sonic, all the guys are there. It's playoff time. They take, they elevate the seriousness of what they're trying to accomplish. I think Sonic pulls it off for sure.
You think Sonic pulls it off?
Yeah.
You're saying
Sonic's
Athlete,
beat some good
okay.
teams with
Yeah.
when the roster's there
All right.
and they really come into play.
right.
I think they're going to take it.
All right. Well, that's interesting already. Right off the bat, we've got Vassal coming in with what I would call an upset at this point
Well,
for
yeah,
a team
one
that just
win
has
all
one
year,
win.
yeah.
You've got to, but you rode them pretty hard last time. Last time we were on too, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Yeah, you're the one guy who's been believing in them for, aside from them. So it should be a very interesting. Matchup to say the least. So if that's the case, then the winner of that faces Fast for what? Fast for play. Yeah, that's it. So Fast for play. So if that's the prediction, well, let's go into what you predicted. You said Athlete de la Nuit first, Fast for play.
Yeah, but Fast Four Play didn't quite get to qualify all the guys they wanted, but they still got enough good guys to not have
take care
to
of
worry
that.
about whichever team they're going to face between Sonic and Athlete de la Nuit. That's a guarantee for Fast Four Play, I'd say.
Sean agreed.
Mark Ronaldo, and that's
Yeah, it's a huge factor.
a huge factor.
If you could if you're playing to trade goals with an offensive team with not much blue line and not much goaltending support, and you have Ronaldo and nets, you're already ahead.
and they got one of the best defensemen in the whole league in that level.
Yes.
I don't play in that league.
Yeah, no, that's hence.
All right, so we won't spend any more time on that. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about Fast for Play when we come to predict the finals. So then your 2 versus 3 seed would be Monster versus Grim
It is a
Reapers.
really good
It's
matchup.
often those middle matchups that are the best ones in the first round. So let's break that one down. Let's unpack it a little bit. Monster versus Grim Reapers. Tell me a little bit about what we can expect from that matchup if that's the way it ends.
See, Grim Reapers are like a two-line team of guys, a few really talented guys, and they've played for a very long time, so they don't have the same intensity and team spirit that we've mentioned in the past for Monster. Monster show up with like 2.5, 3 lines. Everyone's ready. Everyone's pumped in the room before. Everyone's on the same page. So it's a totally different atmosphere from one bench to another. Now, if Grim Reapers could stay as casual through the playoffs as they have all season and still, play their game, they have a good chance. But if Monster's intensity only grows in the playoffs, because they're experienced, they're all experienced guys, they're only going to take it more and more seriously as the season goes down. I see Monster having a legitimate edge as far as just like intensity and feeding off the guy next to you on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's been done before. Monster, Chris Michaels, this team. Since I've been involved in the league, this team's been together.
Yeah.
And they've only, in my eyes, gotten stronger.
They're very strong
as a group, and they just bring an intensity, as you mentioned, to the games that just escalates in playoff times. Everyone buys into what Chris is selling.
Exactly.
And Jay Upal, another big factor on that bench. That I don't think when it comes to playoff time, people can compete with him on that level. In that dimension, Monster is probably the best in this whole league in terms of team cohesiveness. And
Yes, just being all ready on the same page. And, I feel like they'd be so ready that even if they do get a few bad bounces early, they'd have so much positive energy left over that they're not going to let it affect them like it has in the regular season at times.
Yeah. No, I definitely, as talented, I definitely think Grim Reapers is a more talented team.
Their top end is heavier significantly.
But I just think Monster is the better team. And again, it comes down to goaltending. You got Shiraz,
who's an established, strong goalie in any division.
Exactly. And then you have Fineo, not a bad goalie, but not at the same par,
No. Shiraz, to me, is the top goalie in the whole division, and by a lot. So Fineo, to me, is a little bit closer to Jesse. And
that's exactly how I feel. You know, he can get beat with good shooters in playoff times. It's
it's
quicker,
relentless,
it's faster. So I just think him getting exposed a bit more. And again, and then there's a body thing as well.
Right.
If Grim Reapers don't have all their guys, if like if Apollo's missing, or if what's his name,
Rafi Cohen,
Rafi's missing.
That's already exactly. You know? They don't stand a chance if they don't have any of their top guys, but they have a few other guys on there, just character guys. Carl Petroni, Tony Bergomni. They need those guys, those big guys, to keep everyone else in check and make sure that everything's going smoothly back there. Because once they do get control of the game, their confidence is like I said, they're just so casual. There's no stress, nothing. You know, just score some goals and go home. That's all it is.
No, exactly. I definitely think it's gonna. I mean, every dimension for every game varies. I mean, getting a lead is an easy thing to say. Yeah, they get the lead. It's a big difference. But once that team gets a lead, it's
different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So both of you guys on Monster at this point.
I am Monster. Yeah.
Monster. At the end of the day, Monster just overall too strong.
So what a shocker! 1 seed versus 2 seed in the finals, based on your predictions. So
teams that know each other very, very
well.
Very well.
So let's break it down. I mean, this is kind of where we were headed from the start of this. Since this discussion of the E-League.
Yeah.
So if it does end up being Fast for Play versus Monster, what can we expect?
Oh boy, one of the most entertaining games you've seen at the rink.
It'll be one of the best games at the rink for sure.
Yeah.
Last time it's the usual best of three, or it's 1 game elimination even in the finals.
It's
that is scary, man. Wow, that's intense.
It is intense.
Is that a change? It wasn't like that when we won the Rink League.
In 2007, more recently it's added a very, very exciting element.
No kidding, my God,
some of the best finals we've had.
That's horrifying. I'm never gonna play the Rink. I don't mean to talk people out of it, but that one game, Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, I mean, these two teams, like I said, there's a long history between all of them. A lot of them are friends. They've played together before. They know
won
each other.
together, lost together.
Exactly. It is going to be. If it happens, I can't wait to watch that game.
Yeah, just to say, this matchup is the one where Fast Forward Play was losing 6-1 against Monster with 3 minutes left, scored 5 goals and tied it up. Yeah. So that says a lot about how they could get under the other team's skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like they both, it goes both ways. They could really irritate each other.
Everything's on the table. Literally anything could happen.
To have at least 1 or 2 pens, just because of all the penalties I'm going to write. It's going to be heated, but it's not going to be like stick penalties. It's going to be like 2 guys hitting.
Just intense. Intense. Not necessarily dirty, but intense.
No, it's just physical hockey.
Yeah.
Teams who you compete against your friends. You're going to give that extra, right?
And you're not going to.
If I'm playing against, I'm cheap shotting the hell out of my friends. They're the easiest guys to cheap shot.
Well, there's just an extra incentive to win because there is bragging rights. There is a bit more on the line than just a championship. It's
you're not beating strangers. You're beating guys you know.
And one game winner take all. It's nobody's leaving anything in the locker room.
I will expect, honestly, these two teams face off. There could be guys there an hour and a half before the game. It's going to be exciting. I really hope that. I mean, if I had to have a dream pick, that would be the 2 teams I see face off. Because I also think those are going to be the 2 teams who are going to bring the best to the table in that circumstance, and just bring an exciting game of ball hockey fun for everybody to watch.
Yes,
and they're 2 teams that just played each other this past Tuesday, according. That's what I have here.
Yeah, but that was. Yes, they did just play each other, but it wasn't a pre-playoff atmosphere at all. It was
both of them phoning it in.
Yeah, they both kind of. A Monster was short; they were missing a few of their top guys, and the captain for Fast Forward Play wasn't even there, so it wasn't. It was just like a normal.
Not what we can expect if it is.
It's like they already both knew they were finishing first and second. They knew it was for first place, but I don't think Monster cared enough to waste that much energy on it.
Which I find interesting because having to face Grim Reapers first versus
instead of
I would have been like, guys, we need to win this game.
No, they were short. They were missing Zaire, a few good guys. Yeah.
Well, I mean, these things can happen, right? Sometimes you're missing guys.
Missing them now.
And exactly. If you have to schedule when you miss people, it's the last week of the season, not the first week of the playoffs. Then it's a different story, but that's obviously not the case here. So if that is the case, who do you guys have?
Playoff MVP. Oh,
Well, for winning, let's start off with winning.
I gotta say the Cinderella story. Fast for Play's gonna win it. They've got Marco J. Martino.
That's who I would have winning the Norris if they win the.
They got Ronaldo and Nets. They got
Deary is on. Morassi is on.
He's playing very well now.
That game Tuesday, he's the main reason they won. He was the best player on the rink, and it's the best game I've seen him play all year. He was just phenomenal. His touch on the ball, his read, his defensive play.
For a 6'8" guy, his hands are just unbelievable.
No, he had a heck of a game, and I'm thinking he's only going to play better the next week once playoffs come around. But no, I'm going to stick with Monster.
Monster?
Yeah. If Fast Four Play win, I think Martineau would win the playoff MVP because he's going to be a gigantic factor.
Okay.
But Monster are so well balanced that Martineau can't play the full game. He can't watch everything. So they're going to capitalize a few times when he's off. They know how to beat Mark. Not that they're going to beat him every time, but they do know how to beat him, and they're going to find a way a few times.
And if that's the case, who do you have winning MVP?
MVP for Monster, I could see it being Shiraz.
Okay.
Potentially.
It's always a safe pick.
Or Billy Macris. If he brings his A game, he could carry this team on his back. That's what he does. He plays with so much energy, and he wins his battles. He's not afraid to back down of anything, and then at the end of the shift he puts the ball in the net. So if you could feed off a guy like that, you're gonna get all your other guys are gonna elevate their game, and to me that's kind of what makes you Conn Smythe material.
See, for me, if Monster wins it, I'm looking at Chris Michaels or Jay Upal. Chris, he's clutch. And I've seen him score some absolutely huge goals in playoff time, and one thing I'll give, he is he is the sacrificer. He will block shot. He will limp off. His brother too, Brandon Turpin. They will just give up every inch of their bodies to win. And so when I think MVP, I think of a character.
Right.
I think there's it's
exactly.
a subtle impact. He's not just going to make a tangible difference on the surface with a clutch block or a clutch. His snapshot's unbelievable, but he's going to build that intensity and rally the guys together. That's captain MVP for me. Yeah. And Jay Upal has the same abilities. I mean, I've seen this guy play with broken hands, and I don't know if he's wearing two gloves yet.
Yeah, that's it. No, he's
not yet. Still, he doesn't learn.
No.
But so I think him on that side is a very potential to be a factor. But
if your pick Fast for Play does come true, who's going to be your MVP?
I gotta go Martineau as well. I just think he's that good. He's that good. I was going to think of Morassi because he can be that when he wants to be. So
he was on Tuesday.
That's it. I played with him. I know how good he can be, but everyone on Monster knows him. Everyone knows his drag. That's his over-under drag move. Everyone knows it.
His touch. He has a really good touch on the ball.
Good touch, but if you know that drag is coming, you're gonna shut down. Which Martineau just has
and we haven't seen him play the top of his game yet, Martineau. So I'm thinking in playoffs, Dan's gonna tell him, okay, you're qualified. Do whatever you want now.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're ranked next season, but now this is your free time. You got 3 games to go crazy. 2 games actually.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the L League then. I'll finish it off here. So in the L League, we have 9 teams that play in the L, and 8 of the 9 will make the playoffs. It's a very traditional 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5 matchups going in the playoffs here. Number 1 seed, we have UHC, then followed by Ghost Attack, Fighting Saints, Polar Bears, 5 Hole Surprise, Dixon Cider, Die Hard Hockey Club, La Brigade, and then Les Pounes. Les Pounes have been eliminated. They are 2 points back with all their games played. Right. So that's easy. So now we have 8 teams left. We know who the top seed is. It's UHC. We know who the second seed is. It's Ghost Attack. We know who the third seed is. Fighting Saints. That's not going to change. The 4 and 5 seeds are also set. We have the Polar Bears and 5 Hole Surprise. So we know that's one of our matchups is Polar Bears versus 5 Hole Surprise. What we don't know is who will be facing those first 3 seeds, and that's going to establish itself in this.
None of those will be fun to play against in the first round.
I bet. But let's start off with what we do know is going to happen. So we know Polar Bears are playing 5 Hole Surprise. Let's start off with that one.
I got Polar Bears.
You know what? 5 Hole Surprise in the last 5 games are 4-0-1.
Okay.
So they've been on an undefeated streak to get into playoffs. Because at the last time we were looking at this, they were in position 9.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They were on the outside looking in, and they've had an absolute tear of a run. Mm-hmm. Again, it's what's difficult with the rink because there's only 3 nights, and because guys are different nights. It's can you get the bodies?
Attendance, right?
Can you get the attendance on the playoff day? I know for a fact that 5 Hole Surprise are going to have a very big challenge getting bodies for that game if it stays as is.
Okay.
And I agree with you. For me, if it stays as is, the current schedule is the Bible. If we can't get a change,
they're
out. They're going to have a tough time against a Polar Bear team that's can be
Very
at times
experienced.
very experienced, and at times be very strong.
Right. Yeah, Polar Bears, they have goaltending, defense, forwards. Trevor Mona is having a heck of a season. He's putting
Yeah.
the ball in the net every game. And they're just structured and calm back there. There's a lot of poise.
He's got the most
whereas-
goals in the league, so
He has the most goals in the league, really?
not the most points, but he's at 24 goals.
Yeah.
So,
So he scores every single game. And a lot of nice ones, too. But no, the thing about Polar Bears is they have structure, they have poise, and 5-hole surprise are a little bit younger. So I don't know how they're going to fare in the playoffs once one call doesn't go their way. You know,
yeah, no, there's that. They've won before. So
right,
they have-
shenanigans, I believe it was.
Exactly.
Right.
I think they may have won a 5-holes at the G League. So the level, like at this level, they have done it before, but they're, like I would say, there's stiffer competition here.
You're right.
If they have their guys though, for me, Eddie can be a bit of a liability for
Polar Bears, the goalie. I like him in this division. I like him a lot. I mean, he's no John Sanudakis,
Yeah,
but
no,
he's
and we'll get to that,
he's pretty
obviously.
good. He's pretty good. He's stolen some games for them. He's kept
and he's
them in.
comparable to Shazmi on the 5-hole side, statistically speaking.
Yeah.
But Eddie's a bigger guy.
Right.
He's a big boy.
And he's got more experience, I'd say.
Yeah. But I would still give Polar Bears the edge if I suspect. Otherwise, I'm going 5-hole all the way.
Okay,
If 5-hole
now-
is the guys there. If what's the Tim Lazier?
Yeah.
That guy, I find him very, very strong.
Do you remember you mentioned Ryan Labrie to me?
Yes.
Did he qualify for them?
I don't know offhand.
No. If he did, that's a huge factor. That guy could dominate that game. He played in the queue for a few separate teams when he was younger. And now he's played against him in the last few summers. But in a 4-on-4 surface, that guy could really explode. So if 5-hole surprise have him, that means that they have someone that can match Trevor's offensive ability,
That's
and
it,
that
yeah.
already gives him a much better chance. But if he's not there, I'm thinking Polar Bears.
Obviously, we don't know exactly what the other matchups will be. So what I will ask more broadly is, of the three bottom teams, Dixon Cider, Die Hard Hockey Club, and La Brigade, who do you think is most likely to pull off an upset in the first round? If you had to pick one.
Dixon Cider.
All right. Why? Just because you
Experience.
like saying the name? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
No, experience.
Okay.
There are a lot of older guys on the team that know exactly what they're doing. They're very properly managed by Heaton Patel. Good goalie, Ryan Atkinson. Some good defensemen out there. And they got Kevin Frizzle, Mike... what was his name? Mike Brisson. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
thinking English, right? Because it's Mikey. But Mike Brisson and Yannick Desgroseilliers and Dick Ranmarkarian, which are four guys that could score. And yes, right. He's very good, by the way. He came to talk to me after the last webcast, and he's played ball hockey over 30 years ago, and he's still out there, still scoring goals and performing. I mean, he looks good, and if they get a power play out there, he's going to get at least 3 good looks on the net, where one of them will often be in.
Coming back to your earlier question, Ryan Labrie has played 5 games according to the website. So it says goalie only.
He has 2
But
games left.
He has 2 games
Oh, no,
left.
one,
so
sorry.
One, I think, right?
So, yeah,
It's tonight. Did he make tonight?
I don't know. How many points does he
No,
have?
wait, they have another. Oh, yeah, that's
No,
right.
I
Yeah,
just-
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How many points does he have in 5 games?
he has 9 points.
Okay, that's a little bit low.
7 goals, 2 assists.
Okay, that's why he's getting
Yeah.
goals.
Okay. And yeah. Exactly. And they're
The
probably
play is
playing
ending
3
with him.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably playing 3 lines, so he's not, playing the full game like guys on other teams.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Come back to what we're talking about, but I did want to
That's
follow
a
that
huge
up.
factor
Yeah.
for a 5-hole surprise. It could be a really big asset for them to upset Polar Bears. They're not even gonna. I mean, unless they watch this, they're
Yeah.
not gonna know who that guy is. So he's
Yeah.
gonna catch them off guard.
All right. So Dixon Cider is your pick if you had to pick one from
Right.
the Bulls' bottom 3. How about you, Sean?
I understand his pick completely. I like Die Hard Hockey Club.
Got smoked tonight, though.
They got smoked tonight against Ghost Attack, a very, very good
Natural.
team.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, against those top 3 teams, who do you think could pull off the upset?
Yeah, in that case, I got to go Dixon Cider. When you put it that way, like,
Yeah.
of those 3 teams, ironically,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not saying- I'm not saying
I think
who's
in
the
a heads-up
best.
match, they're
My-
going to be better, in my opinion, against Dixon
Yeah.
Cider. But right, long term, like who
Yeah.
would fare better against those? They just got this bit more stability with the Brissons, Frizzles, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Degauzy. Yeah, and also they have a good way of getting under UHC's skin. I mean, it goes both ways. UHC really gets under Dixon Cider's skin, but I mean, they could trade off penalties and get some of their top guys out of the game. They're gonna.
Yeah, Hinton Patel, the captain of Dixon Cider, he knows every. I mean, I think
he's played with them.
He's played with them before.
He's played with them,
He knows everyone on that team, so that would be a bad matchup
for UHC. It's like the worst case scenario for UHC is to have to play Dixon Cider in the first round.
They would hate that.
Yeah.
Conversely, of the top 3 teams, UHC, Ghost Attack, Fighting Saints, who is most likely to lose in the first round?
Ghost
Attack, yeah.
Right.
If the Ghost Attack is a 2,
not that they're very likely to lose, just most likely. Fighting Saints and UHC are very well structured, always ready to play every game. They already have their game plan and everything. They're good to go every single game. I haven't had a chance to see Ghost Attack many times, but I don't think they bring the same intensity and structure that both those other teams do.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Sean,
I mean, Ghost Attack show up with the same squad every day. You know, they
rely on skill. They rely on skill a lot too.
Yeah.
They're
2 best guys, Thierry and Mathieu Dufour. That's what they rely on. That's what they know. There's an emerging guy I've heard about on this team now. I forget his name. I saw him in the last tweet, like a 4-goal game, and maybe it was tonight even. But every time we speak of Ghost Attack, it's those 2 guys. And
Marc-Antoine Léger, possibly. He has 12 goals in 12 games.
It could be him actually. No, it was Dominic Doré had a big game the last time.
Any relation to Alex?
Maybe. But yeah, so Ghost Attack, I just don't think have enough of the weaponry that Fighting Saints has.
Right, they have a lot of... They could dig deep. They have a really big roster. So does UHC, and apparently, I guess that's what helps these team end up on top. Like they could rely on those, deep down the roster to get, a hat trick from an unexpected guy. Like I could think of one guy on each of these teams: Danny Lacerte on Fighting Saints and Nick Del Negro on UHC, who got a hat trick from the blue line. 1 power play, 1 shorthanded, and 1 4-on-4 goal. Yeah. Which I mean, he had maybe 1 goal before that all year. But they have guys on both these teams that could just flip it and all of a sudden you got production from anywhere down the line. So I guess that's a huge factor when Ghost Attack really only have those 2 guys.
No, exactly. I mean, when we look at this league, we're basically looking at who's going to join the party with UHC, Ghost Attack, and Fighting Saints. I think those 3 are predicted to move on to the next round.
Right.
It's who's going to, and it's basically going to come down to Polar Bears and Fightful Surprise. Who's going to be the one?
Just to follow up on your earlier comment, it was Dominique Doré who had 4 goals and 1 assist, and out of the 11 goals that they scored, he was involved with 5 of them. So, all right. So if we are saying that, yes, those are the teams that are most likely to pull off an upset and the team that's most likely to lose, but that being said, you guys still think that those top 3 seeds will make it to the next round?
Yeah, it's hard to see them losing.
All right.
I mean, anyone who's playing Dixon Cider has a chance to lose.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So that's the one caveat you guys are giving.
Thing,
but for now, we'll go on as if that's what it is. So if that is the case, then you would have UHC playing the Polar Bears in the first round.
Which is no contest for UHC.
The second round, I should say.
Yeah, they're going to have one guy, maybe George Lallis or Tim Beck, stick on Trevor. And that's it.
Yep.
They're going to score. They're going to get 1 penalty, and they're going to score on that power play, and that's it.
Floodgates will be over.
Yeah, exactly. John's going to keep them in until the goalie, John Senodakis.
You know what? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
John is a goaltender.
He's good enough to be in the talks as best goaltender in the E-League above this if he were to play in that division.
Yeah, I know. And Hinton mentioned him to me. He's like, do you realize how good this guy is? You know what I mean? He's played in 5-on-5 at higher levels. Numbers not as good.
It's not the same.
But on UHC, again, this is the factor of when your defense are so strong in front of you.
You play with confidence.
You play, there's not the 2 or 3 rebounds on a shot that can get you. There's 1 shot.
And your defense is clearing
it up, right? Or clearing it out of the way. But his numbers are very impressive this year.
It's scary to watch.
And don't forget, playing goalie in the rink is a completely different story than playing. Forget just the angles and all that, but it's also sometimes you get bored playing in nets in 5-on-5. You might go 10 minutes and not get a shot, and then all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1, and you got to wake up. Whereas the rink, it's like basketball.
Bam, bam, bam.
You're always got to be awake.
The fact that he has a 91% save percentage in a significant number of games, like 11. It's not like he's played 1 game. Played a weak team.
Maybe I'm a little sloppy on the shot count.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. No, he's very, very good.
That's insane. That's unbelievable. I've never seen numbers like this. The save percentage for the top 5 goalies at Lorink. It's
No,
incredible.
he's really, really good. And the ones he does let through, like, the guys celebrate. You know, like I saw Kevin Frizzle score one on him, and he 2-hand fist bump. I finally beat him. We're losing 6-1, but I finally beat him. You know, like, he is good.
But that's what I think is going to make the difference. But yeah,
I also think he could be the playoff MVP.
yeah, I suspect he could be as well.
All right. Well, before we get to that point, let's jump into. So if that's how we see it going, then the next matchup is Ghost Attack versus Fighting Saints.
Just see the Saints taking it.
You see the Saints thinking about.
Just grit.
Neither of you guys seem too sold on Ghost Attack.
It's like they're less hardcore about it. You know, they're
Exactly.
less serious. They've played for so long. Both of the,
But they have 9 wins, though.
I know.
yeah, but that's because they also play on an off night, I believe, right? They play on
They do
Thursday.
play Thursday, which is not necessarily
It catches some teams off guard. And they're just, if you could, when those two guys get going, the Dufal brothers, if you're going to score 10 goals, yeah, you might win 10-9. But in the playoffs, you're going to score the first 2, and then right away, even if you don't know what to do, you're going to recognize that you got to, if you want to have any chance, you got to stop these guys. But if they're playing a team like Fighting Saints, they already know this from a month ago. They're already like, hey guys, if we play them in the playoffs, these two guys, we got to watch them.
Yeah.
They're going to have the right guys to actually neutralize them or do their best to neutralize them.
All right. So if that is the case, then your finals are going to be UHC versus Fighting Saints.
Yes, they tied 5-5 this week, and it was beautiful. That was a hard-fought game. Costa came to see me after the game, and he was worried. He's like, man, if there's one team I really don't want to play in the playoffs, these guys. And he's trying to analyze which guys. He's like, oh, this guy, he just qualified.
Costa texts me, he's like, this guy Luca Passarelli.
Yeah, you sure he's not ranked?
Yeah, exactly. He's unbelievable.
By the way-
There's 2 of them. It was Luca and another guy.
68.
Yeah, with
A French name, I forget.
Eric.
Eric
Decoste.
Decoste,
Yeah,
he had a
those
4-goal
guys.
game.
He's like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Well, Luca, he knows, because
yeah, I
honestly,
know, he knows, but it's just like,
every game they play is the funnest thing to watch. You should come do it one time. Watch Luca Passarelli and Marco Delgadio the entire game.
Oh, really?
Those guys are like 2 magnets. They attract each other, then it just bounces off each other. They both go a little crazy, rough stuff, and then both eventually will get a penalty because the last 3 times that they've played each other, I've seen them each in the box at the same time. But it's like it doesn't get dirty, and they're 2 of the roughest guys, right? So it gets heated, and they push and they shove, and then the next thing you know, they're both in the box, and they're 2 of the best players for their team. So it's really fun to see what's going to happen in the
Oh, it's
playoffs
gonna
when
be
those 2 have to actually, like, you know how Marco kills a penalty, right? He takes the ball, turns around, holds it, sees the
says-
guys coming,
and he
runs.
challenges it, "Come get me," you know, like,
exactly.
yeah.
Now, when Luca goes to get the ball from Marco, you can't even see it. It's a tornado of sticks and gloves and
Like
whatever.
the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah,
Just-
It's awesome. It's going to be very exciting to see those 2 match up.
no, that's the dream matchup for a
Yeah.
final. But that's the
If
one.
I were the commish of a league, I wouldn't be saying that's the dream matchup because somewhere some bad call is going to happen.
No, well, that's-
and then they're going to be like, "Oh, you see, he said it on the podcast. He just wanted them to play as if there was a point and there were ratings involved or something like that." But I'm telling you, it's going to happen. My friendly advice.
Yeah,
Anyways,
no, it's probably. But
move on.
We just
Yeah.
know, like, I mean, in terms of a matchup, like, who I think is the best team in the matchup against UHC, because I think UHC is going to go to the final.
Well,
It would be Fighting Saints.
they're both 3 full lines, big guys, small guys, fast guys, scorers, shutdown guys, good goaltending.
Yeah.
I mean, better on UHC, obviously, because John's just stellar this year.
exactly.
Honestly, I think he's better than I've ever seen him right now.
Well,
He's really impressive to watch.
He's considering he's not young.
Yeah. Well, he's telling me he has a bum knee, but I don't see
Yeah,
it.
no,
Maybe he's using that Ray Lewis
It's a lower body
deer
injury.
antler spray, or
He's
some,
not-
some PEDs. Do we test for that in NBHL? No. So go for it,
It'll
guys.
be interesting. That's going to be the matchup I think that everyone's going to have their eyes out for, and look, everyone's going to try to derail these guys like UHC and they've sat atop the standings the whole year.
Well,
The
Fighting
target's
Saints
out
not so much. They're hot as of late, undefeated in 5. They were more middle of the pack last time we
there.
talked. But now
No, they
they've
turned
really
around, right?
yeah.
Like that's it. So it's
Yeah.
it'll be really really exciting to see.
All right, so let's hear it.
But if things
Who you got?
but if things stand the way they are, they won't face off in the in the finals.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would. Well, because
Two
if
plays 3.
I bracketed
One
it
plays
out.
4.
One plays 8.
Yeah.
Right.
Assuming 1, 2, 3, and 4 win.
Right.
Oh,
so-
no.
no, I'm right.
Oh, wait a second.
They won't play in the finals. One plays 8.
They would
Yeah.
play before that.
They'll play in the semis because they're third place.
That's
If-
true.
if-
We're not. I'm looking at it as if.
The only
the
way
top four go through, they play each other.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what.
No,
it
as
is.
long as Ghost Attack goes through,
Yeah,
they play each other
in the semis.
in the semis, which would
That's
be
true.
is devastating for both those teams. That's you know what I mean? Because I think if Ghost Attack does, the key is can someone derail Ghost Attack before
Right.
the semifinal game?
Sorry to just because I'm getting confused now. You guys don't reseed after the first round?
Yep.
So okay, so if 1, 2, 3, and 4 make it through, one
still
would
playing
play
three.
four.
Plays 4.
Yeah,
2 plays 3.
2 plays 3. Okay, so 1 is UHC.
Oh,
and
you're
no,
right.
I know,
Yeah,
but
but
right,
the-
no, I'm
No,
right.
he's right.
I'm right. Yeah, because one would play 4. So
Yeah.
in which case, in your
Sorry, you're
predictions,
right. But if
UHC would
there's
place
one-
the Polar Bears, and Fighting Saints would play Ghost Attack, and then winners play against each other.
I don't think we recede actually. We don't recede.
So it's just a bracket, and then
Yeah, it's a winner of semi 1 versus winner of.
then that's a different story.
Yeah, that's
in any case, so if I'm right, then they'll play in the finals, and if I'm not, then you guys consider that semifinal matchup to be the true championship. Am I right?
pretty much. Yeah.
Possibly.
Right? Whoever you think comes out of
It's not
that.
going to be easy for either of those two teams. I mean, the way we're saying it, it's like they're guaranteed to win everything. It's not going to be that easy for them. It just
Polar Bears mercied UHC, so it's like anyone could. Anyone
Wow.
can do it.
it's their only loss all year.
Yeah, true. What a big one. Eh? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, gambling.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
dark
yeah,
underbelly
yeah,
of the
exactly.
NBHL.
They could, if there's a game to bet on, like, UHC's winning for sure.
yeah, exactly.
No, it's going to be. I mean, that's why I think the finals in all these leagues have a very, very exciting potential.
All of them.
And the first round matchups, some of them are like in the C and E leagues are going to be great. This one, it's a bit because it's a bigger league. The first round matchups are a disparity between the seeds are a bit larger. But when you get down to the crunch time, it's going to be literally crunch time.
Yeah.
So give me a pick for winner and MVP.
I mean, we already know. I'm going to say UHC and John.
All right, Vasil, you're gonna agree, or are you gonna go out on a limb?
I'll say Fighting Saints.
I like
just
it.
to go against Sean.
Beautiful.
exactly.
That is the
I felt like-
best and only reason why.
Yeah, exactly.
Who you got if
Yeah,
it is the
MVP.
Fighting
If
Saints?
they actually do win it.
If they do win it, I mean, I want to say Luca Passarelli, but I don't think UHC is going to let him be in any position to win a team
Marco's gonna
MVP.
take care of him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I don't think they're going to let him do his stuff.
Or Tim, right? Like they're just.
Yeah, Tim. Well, Marco plays up, Tim plays back. So for sure, if one of them is on there, they're going to watch him.
Yeah.
They do have another guy. I forget if it's Dante Tro, who scored a few nice big goals for them. I'm thinking that he might fly under the radar for UHC and.
For UHC?
Or
for
no,
Fighting Saints?
he's
For
for
Fighting
he's for
Saints.
Fighting Saints. But if they
Okay,
were to
okay.
hypothetically,
Not anymore.
yeah.
We'll find out if people listen to this. If they come to you on Tuesday,
Yeah.
like, we know him now.
Was
Yeah.
that the guy you were talking about?
Exactly.
I mean, they have Jay Upal qualified as well, Fighting Saints.
Ooh, that's big.
Yeah, so I know he doesn't play with as much devotion, I would say,
It's
as
not
when
the
he
same.
plays for another team.
Right.
He knows it's a lower league. He doesn't want to be that guy that went to light up a lower league. But
It's kind of
I
hard
mean,
to turn it off in the playoffs.
It,
though.
it
Yeah,
is,
that's a great
especially
point.
against a team like UHC that you know is a little bit stronger than this division. They're kind of overpowered here, so you kind of he's the kind of guy that's going to take it on
There's a
himself to
motive
bring
there.
him down,
Yeah.
bring them down a peg. You know. So yeah, maybe Jay Upal if for
could be
Fighting
interesting.
Saints.
That could be it.
All right, well, guys, we did it. Larink. It's been
How it
fun.
unfolds,
Hell
yeah.
of a year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it breaks down. I have a special place in my heart for Larink, as I mentioned last podcast. And it's going to be a hell of a ride. Final thoughts on the season at Larink. We don't really have time because we've been through it, but I think I can read your minds and say it's always exciting at Larink.
is.
It's always
Yeah, it is.
insanity.
First time managing it, so
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so-
and I kind of have an appeal. I kind of want to play there now. I used to say I would never, ever play there again. I spared one game for my friend Chris Gagnon, and no, sorry, but I don't
Yeah.
care. It could be free. You could pay me. I don't want to play there. But now that I've seen it like more in
Who you're
depth,
around, right?
yeah, and
It's a
not
different
just-
game. It's just a different game.
Once I saw a game doesn't need to get rough and ugly. There,
Yeah, that's right.
game changer.
Yep. Guys, it's been a blast. We wish you all the best of luck throughout the playoffs and whatever remains of your regular seasons. At MBHL_official is where you can reach Sean. At Vassal MBHL is where you can reach Vassal. At MBHL Media is where you can reach me. Otherwise, you can catch Vassal scorekeeping. You can catch Sean pretty much everywhere. And you can catch me nowhere because my team was eliminated from the playoffs like 6 months ago. That's it from us here at the third period. We will be back next week. Okay, let's try that one again. We will be back next next week. It's late. Just to point out, by the way, because some people might comment about this, you might have heard Vasil like breathing heavily and blowing his nose and all that. The man is really sick, and he made an effort to come out here, and we appreciate it because we figured you didn't want to see just me and Sean. It gets boring. So we appreciate you being here, Vasil, and toughing it out. He's in playoff form as well. But as a result, it's a little bit late. So you saw with us with the playoff brackets and all that, our brains aren't really functioning that well. We needed a little bit of coffee or maybe a Red Bull or two, but it's too late for that. So this is the podcast that you get. That's it from us here at the third period. We will see you here next week. But until then,
good night, NBHL.
Hey, look at that! You didn't even need his help. Hey. He's on a roll. He's on a streak.
Well done.
Flawless in the last 5 weeks.